Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Darrell Brooks saga. I'm Jester, and today I'm sorry if the sound is a little different. I'm currently traveling, so it's gonna be a little bit different, but I still wanted to give you guys the content. So let's get right into the video. Let's not waste any time.
Further, thank you.
All right, thank you. You may step down.
Direct your attention to
was
November
that?
21st of last year. Were you at the City of Waukesha Christmas Parade?
Exactly. I was the Catholic community of Waukesha Catholic. We're walking in the parade.
Are you familiar with pretty much everyone within this picture?
Yep.
Can you briefly look at that and let me know if those names are correctly associated with the correct people?
Yeah. To the best of my ability.
I would ask the court to admit Exhibit 129 into evidence and publish it for the jury. Would ask the court to publish.
It's relevant.
The
to the
objection
people that
is
was there.
overruled. Exhibit 129 is received and permission to publish is granted.
Can you briefly kind of go over the people who are named? How about Adair Lopez Revelar?
Objection, leading the witness.
Adair is
Hold on, there's been an objection. I need to rule on it. The objections noted, it's overruled.
Was this taken on the day of the parade? Does it appear?
it would definitely appear. I'm not familiar with the picture, but it would definitely appear.
That appears to be the street that you guys
Exactly.
walked on
Yep,
and the clothing
definitely.
that he was
Objection,
wearing.
leading the witness.
was kinda late.
Overruled.
There's a box with their name with a red arrow going from the person to the name. Are all of those correctly diagrammed?
Juan, I couldn't say definitively that that's him, and Jose Perales, I believe that's him, but I couldn't say definitively on that particular angle.
Okay. And with regard to Jason Peckloff, specifically, since we've identified the other people in this photograph through Exhibit 129, that is Jason Peckloff, and he's correctly named in this diagram?
Yeah, definitely.
Objection. Everybody was not positively identified.
He always has to find something,
I would
even though
note
it's
that
irrelevant.
the witness identified most with certainty, others without. So the jury should just keep that in mind at this point. I don't believe there's been an offer, though, or a request to receive it just yet. So I'll withhold any of that.
And Your Honor, I'm going to move Exhibit 121 into evidence, ask that it be published with the understanding that Father Witter indicated that Jose Perales.
Why is he looking up to the sky? I don't get it. And I still don't know how he does this thing with his forehead. I cannot do it. I tried.
Alvarez and Juan Marquez, it would be consistent, but he cannot say with 100% positivity that those are those two individuals.
Objection. It was not said with certainty whatsoever. The answer was he's not sure.
Exhibit 121 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
There you go.
Other than Jose Perales, Alvarez, and Juan Marquez, which you indicated you weren't positive about, the other people whose names are and arrows are on that picture, you can positively identify them?
100%.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 122. And there are two names associated with two individuals on this picture. Can you positively identify that those individuals are the people in this picture?
Objection, leading the witness.
Overruled.
What?
Yeah, William Mitchell and Yamilat Perales, that would be 100%.
Can you identify the individuals who are named in this exhibit?
Objection. The names are on there.
That was not the question.
Whether he could identify the individuals who are named.
Yeah, he's saying if he can identify them. Even if if someone shows me a random picture of a group and has big arrows with names to them, I can still say I don't know them. I don't know who they are.
So
That's a big arrow pointing to there.
your objections noted. It's overruled.
100%. I would attest to that picture.
I'd ask the court to admit Exhibit 123 into evidence and to publish it for the jury.
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
Are the arrows associated with the people that you know as Elliot Hallmark and Father Pat Heppy?
Objection, leading the witness.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yep, 100%.
And again, this photograph is taken at the same location as the others?
Yep.
Okay. I'd ask the court to admit Exhibit 125 and allow it to be published for the jury.
Objection. Relevancy.
Overruled.
He's just staring at him.
What, at some point, was your attention drawn to something during the parade?
All of a sudden kind of heard a scream, and my experience was I turned to my left and there was a red SUV just flying down the road. My next experience would be kind of hearing it,
Oh,
kind of striking people.
And I'm gonna just, because we have to put that on the record, that you put your fist to your
Yeah,
palm of your
just,
hand, making a striking noise?
Yep, just kind of like a
Objection. Leading the
pounding
witness.
sound, I guess.
how is that leading? She's just saying what he did. Huh?
Overruled. The description may stand. Keep going. Next question.
How many times did you hear that?
So for
Objection.
me,
Leading the witness.
Overruled. You may answer.
I heard 2 times. My next encounter was that there were 3 people from our group that I don't believe would have been the ones with impact that were lying more or less right in my immediate path.
I'm gonna show you what's been marked and admitted into evidence as State's Exhibit 15. It'll not only be, I'd ask that it be published as well.
Go ahead. Exhibit and receipt.
Objection. How many times do you need to publish the same picture?
Whatever they need to.
Your objection's noted. It's overruled.
Of course.
Where do you see your group on this map?
Furthest to my left.
Can you circle it?
We're almost
That
at the
star
end.
that you circled then is attached to a list of names, is that correct?
Objection. Leading the witness.
Sustained. Please rephrase.
Yes. Do you see a list of names and an arrow on that map?
Objection. Leading the witness.
Overruled. You may answer.
I do.
Do you recognize the names that are on that map?
Objection. Leading the witness.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yep, I recognize all those names.
How many names are on that list?
Objection. Leading the witness.
Overruled.
Okay. I'm sorry if I'm not saying much during this part, but there's not a lot to say. Like the attorney is doing a really good job establishing the group, and Darrell is just doing this is the same thing that he always does. So it's gonna get better when he's asking the questions. But I'm sorry.
18?
Didn't mean to test you. And were all those people, to your knowledge, injured as a result of being struck by or indirectly struck by the vehicle in the parade?
Objection. Hearsay.
Overruled. You may answer.
He was there.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. Did you hear the impacts first, or did you see the red SUV first?
I saw the red SUV just flying on the left side. It was going faster than anyone in their right mind would be driving in that scenario.
Yes.
Could you estimate the speed?
Objection. Hearsay.
Overruled.
The speed limit was 25. The car, in my estimation, was going faster than I would see a car driving in normal times down that street.
So in excess of 25 miles per hour?
Objection. Hearsay. Leading the witness.
What?
Not hearsay. It's a clarification question. Your objection noted. It's overruled. You may answer.
I would say yes.
Could you describe who you saw after the car went through who appeared to be injured?
So the three people that were in my path were Father Patrick Heppy, and then Maria Perez, and William Bill Mitchell.
So the 3 people you had direct contact with would have been Maria Perez, William Mitchell,
He's
or Bill
confused.
Mitchell, and Father Heppy.
That's correct.
Objection. Leading the witness.
I believe that's what his testimony just was.
Yeah.
Correct. It's overruled.
I'm just going to go through the remainder. If you saw them, or either that night or in the following days, let me know. And if you know that they were injured, Maria Alvarez Dominguez.
Objection. It's hearsay.
No, it's not.
It's not hearsay. It's asking about his knowledge, not what he heard.
Yeah.
So you may
injuries
answer
would
the
be
question.
Maria was injured. I don't know the full scope of her injuries.
And how about Gregorio Romelia Perez?
She was very, very, very severely injured, major issues.
Could you observe what those injuries were?
Objection, hearsay.
Again,
Overruled. You may
I'm sorry to pause it, but Darrell doesn't understand the principal knowledge of hearsay. Like she's asking what he knows. That's the definition. That's not hearsay. That's just not it. It's just wants to stop the interrogation.
answer.
And there is
Pelvis
cross-examination.
fractures, and she was in rehab for about 4 months with still walking with a cane.
Jason Peckloff.
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled. You may answer.
Jason suffered a severe concussion and some ankle injuries, an ankle injury.
Yamilet Perales Alvarez.
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled. Go ahead, you may answer.
Jamilet was, came very close to losing her. Major head trauma. Was severely hurt.
Jose Perales Alvarez.
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
But we almost had 7 deaths because of this guy, and the only thing he can do is say hearsay.
Jose also was very severely hurt with leg injuries. He's had about 10 surgeries at this
10.
point. Still
And-
walking with a crutch.
And Camila Perez Gonzalez.
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
Camilla had an orthopedic injury. She's had a couple surgeries.
Any cross-exam questions for this witness, sir?
Okay, here we go. But I want to make a little parenthesis here. It's really awful. I mean, we think about the people that he actually killed, and that's the worst. I mean, I'm not saying that's not bad. It's the worst that he did. But we also have to think about all the other victims that whose life it's different. Like walking with a cane, walking with a crutch, all these things. The lady that was almost killed. Like he made significant damage to all these families, and the only thing that he can think about is about money. It's about people lying. It's about all these different things that it doesn't make. I'm sorry.
Please proceed.
See, I don't have too many questions for you, Father.
I seriously doubt that. X, really big X.
To the best of your knowledge, do you have any reason why you would be testifying on behalf of an injured party if you are not an injured party?
What?
Mr. Relevance.
Grounds.
Yeah.
Overruled. You may answer.
What?
If he knows.
My thought would be that as the pastor, I would have a more wide-ranging kind of knowledge of different people's situations as a pastor.
Yeah.
You testified
talk to
to
him.
observing quite a few injuries. How can you assess the injuries just by looking at the people?
He never said that.
Can you clarify what you mean by that? Like, what are you getting at?
For example, if I was to see someone injured laying on the ground, I could essentially say, "Oh, it looks like this," but how can I be certain that that's what it is? So my question is, being that you observed a lot of injuries, how are you able to assess what they were just by looking?
People told
The
him that
question
this.
mischaracterizes his testimony,
Thank
so
you.
I'm going to ask that you rephrase.
How did you know the injuries just by looking?
He never said that.
It still mischaracterizes his testimony. That's not what he said. He was asked about whether he was aware.
Yeah, that he observed injuries. So how could he know
He observed some, so you need to be specific as what point in
the
time.
injuries that you saw at the hospital? How were you able to say for sure what those injuries were just by observation?
Yeah, so some of it is seeing people at the hospital, and then part of it then is, so there's the immediate seeing people in the hospital, and then there's the later times of seeing people in the hospital or seeing people in other contexts.
Yeah.
So would it be fair to say that you were told those injuries either by medical professionals or by the people?
Exactly. So if people would say, this is my injury, I would believe them.
Yeah. What was
If they
he
go to the
like?
hospital, if I see people with crutches, wheelchairs, then I would say that's probably accurate.
But you didn't know for sure yourself until you were told.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not the one diagnosing an injury. I can observe what they say, I can observe what I see, and then if I see people with crutches, wheelchairs,
That's
then
what I
I'm
was
like,
getting at.
there's probably truth there.
Okay.
Do you know if
You got him. You got the pastor to say that he's not a doctor. What are you gonna do with that?
any of the people you saw after the incident filed any claims in the matter?
Nothing. He's gonna do nothing.
Could you clarify by what you mean by claims?
Did they file for to be an injured party in the matter, or did they file for any medical bill support or anything of that nature? To your knowledge, do you recall any of that?
We certainly told as many people as possible to get involved in the Waukesha parade support and other means of help. I can't speak specifically for each person what they did or did not do.
Can you explain to the jury what you mean by the support that you are referring to? Was that like a group formed, or was that sort of like an event of a GoFundMe account or something like that? Can you give some clarity on that?
Yeah, there was the Waukesha parade fund that was, I think, an international type of thing. There was, our parish had a fund. There were GoFundMes. There were any number of different things. There were different encounters to allow people to come together and talk about what had happened and seek start healing from the emotional part of it.
And by international, that would be assuming worldwide.
That's what international means.
That'd be fair to say?
Yes.
Yes, you got him to say that. Now what?
So it would be fair to say that there were financial interests attached to this incident.
Oh my God! Again. I'm sorry. I said it when he asked that the other time, but what financial interest? The only thing that they wanted is to help the victims that you caused. They didn't want the money. They wouldn't. I don't know. They wouldn't set up the GoFundMe if you didn't hit them. But they need money to pay the bills, the medical bills, to pay the surgeries, to pay the wheelchairs. What do you mean that there's financial interest, my guy?
Objection is how it relates to this witness's testimony.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Well, it was actually because he referred to some GoFundMes being set up and anything. So my question was, being that it was a wide-ranging scope by him saying international,
What's your question?
Yeah, what's the
I
relevance?
sustained the objection.
was there any financial interests attached to this incident?
No, you already asked that.
Same reasons before.
Grounds.
It's vague, unclear, overly broad.
Any idea how much money was raised for?
What is the relevance of that?
I guess I would say GoFundMe's, groups, support.
Objection as it relates to this witness's
Grounds.
testimony.
I'll allow it a little bit of leeway as it potentially could relate to bias, not of this witness, he made no claim, but go ahead, if he knows.
There was $73,000 that came into the fund that I'm aware of, the Catholic community of Waukesha, that we dispersed in different ways. There's still, I think, $3,000 left. That's for kind of community healing events. What the end of the What GoFundMe's reached, what the Waukesha Foundation Fund reached, I don't know.
And did that go straight towards the victims to help them in any way?
Yes.
So an example would be, there are many people that could not work because of being hurt, or they had situations where a loved one was severely hurt and they had to be at home or going to the hospitals, nursing homes, and taking care of them.
You stated you didn't see the vehicle approaching at the time when it got to where you were. Would that be fair to say?
That's correct. It was very close to me when I saw it.
About how close to you did the vehicle come?
The vehicle was on my left side. I saw it probably, very close to when it was on me, I would say, to my left.
Yeah.
Did it come pretty close to you at any time when
He
it was
just
passing
said that.
The car did not hit me. It was on my left.
you? You referred to it as a car, as you just said. Was it a car? Was it an SUV? What was the vehicle?
I would describe it as an SUV, to be specific.
Yeah.
Any reason why you would say car?
Because that's what it is.
Objection argumented.
Grounds?
Overruled, he may answer.
For me, people that know me, I'm not a car person, so car is a wide-ranging descriptor to me.
Would it be fair to say you wouldn't call a bus a car, though, right?
Objection argumented.
Grounds.
That's argumentative.
Okay. I have to go in this again. I look it up. An SUV is a car. The definition of a car is a small motor-driven vehicle that carries a few people. No, a bus is not a car. That's different. But an SUV is a car. I hate that he asked these questions. They're nonsense. Let's move on.
If sustained, you don't need to answer that one.
At any time when the vehicle was passing you, were you able to see into the vehicle?
The vehicle was going very fast. So I would not have had a picture of who was driving the vehicle.
But you can't estimate a good speed that the vehicle may have been traveling.
My estimation was the vehicle was traveling faster than I would usually see a car traveling down Main Street. So over 25 miles an hour.
So would that be that you said traveling faster than you would see a car traveling down Main Street? Would that be in terms of if there was a parade actively going on, or even without any traffic
But in normal
on Main
day.
Street?
If I was at Main Street right now watching cars go past, if I was just on the sidewalk, I would say that the parade was traveling faster than those cars would be traveling.
I'm saying in terms of even if there was no parade, if it was
He
just
just
a regular,
said
just a normal day.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. On a normal day, the car was traveling, in my estimation, faster than you would see a car traveling on a normal day.
Do you recall being interviewed by any law enforcement at that time?
I was not interviewed until getting a subpoena about this particular case.
Do you recall when you received that subpoena?
October 1st was when I got the official, to report, to testify to the case.
Were you in contact with any law enforcement about this incident leading up to the October 1st subpoena that you received?
Not before I talked to the DA.
And do you recall what DA that was?
It was Susan and
Excuse me.
Susan.
May the record reflect that there was a right hand gesture towards the prosecution table?
I believe the witness identified our district attorney Susan Opper as the Susan. The record can reflect that.
Yeah.
And was that October 1st time the only conversation you had with Attorney Opper?
It would have been sometime in September where I was, notified to come in and talk to the DA. So I talked to the DA once.
And at that time in September, you weren't yet subpoenaed.
I was, how do I say this? This would be a point of clarification in the sense of I believe that I was subpoenaed to come in and talk to the DA. I'm not sure if that's a subpoena or that's what the correct wording is. I was told to come in and talk to the district. I'm not sure if that's a subpoena, but I believe it would be more than come in if you want to. I believe it was kind of like
I can understand him being frustrated, confused. I'm confused as well.
you need to come in, not if you want, you can, if not, don't. I'm not sure what the terminology for that is, but that's how I would take it. If that's a subpoena.
No, that's not a subpoena. The subpoena is when you actually get the subpoena paperwork by
You cannot
mail or-
testify, my guy.
I don't.
Mr. Brooks, you need to ask a question.
Can I get to it, Your Honor?
No, because you're trying to define something, which would be testifying, which you cannot do at this time. So the jury will disregard his last comment, but go ahead and ask a question of this witness.
You get something else.
Wow.
Wow.
Mr. Brooks, that was
Exactly, wow.
inappropriate.
How could you say that?
Do you have any other questions for
Yes, I
this
do.
witness?
Yes,
Please
I
ask
do.
them.
During your conversations with Attorney Opper in September and October 1st, when you received the subpoena, at that time, were you provided the complaint in this issue?
What do you mean by complaint?
The complaint would be a reference to the charges in this matter. Paperwork that would state the charges.
Objection, Meg.
Grounds.
Oh, overruled. He may answer if he's able.
You mean to me, seeing what happened and seeing everyone that was hurt?
No.
To me, it was very obvious what this was about.
Did you see at any time any paperwork related to the charges in this incident?
So there'd been the subpoena sheet that would have had your name and any number of different.
What do you mean my name? What are you referring to?
Your name.
I
Whatever
believe
your
it would
name
have
is.
said Darrell Brooks on it.
Are you aware that I don't identify by that name?
Objection, argument is
Sustained.
Jesus Christ. How would he know? And that doesn't matter.
So is that what your subpoena said? Was that the language of your subpoena? The logistics?
We've been down this road under 906.11,
Move
Mr.
on.
Brooks. You're not, I need you to ask a relevant question to this witness.
That was relevant. He said what was on the
No,
subpoena.
you've talked at length about the subpoena,
Yeah.
so under
on.
906.11, move on to a new topic, please.
He's so.
Are you aware of who the plaintiff is in this matter?
Objection, relevance.
Grounds.
And
Overruled, he may answer.
I believe that you would be, or excuse me, you're the defendant.
I would be the plaintiff?
Excuse me, at my mind, you're the defendant, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
The plaintiff would be.
he's so interested.
If you know, do you know who the plaintiff is?
All those who were hurt under the title of the state of Wisconsin. That's how I would identify it.
That's how you would identify it. So Do you know if anybody who was hurt that identified as the plaintiff?
Objection relevance.
Grounds.
Yeah, move on. Cut him off. Please.
I think this witness has testified he's really not sure what the plaintiff is. He kind of guessed. He gave an assumption.
Sustained.
He did.
Foundation.
He did answer the question though.
Sustained. Next question.
So to the best of your knowledge, the plaintiff would be the representative of the people.
Objection is relevance.
Sustained.
Move on. Move on.
You're now asking him to make a legal conclusion, which I will not have him do. It's also not relevant.
But where are the plaintiff questions? I mean, it's almost over.
Do you know if any injured party who claims to be the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained. Mr. Brooks, under 90611, please move on to a new topic.
That was faster.
Are you aware that only an injured party could be the plaintiff in this incident?
Objection
Grounds.
relevance.
Sustained also misstates the law. You don't have to answer that. Mr. Brooks, new topic, or under 90611, I will close the cross-examination.
How does that mischaracterize the law?
Says
An injured
mistake.
party has to make the
Under
claim.
90611, you haven't asked a question. I will give you one more opportunity. Don't question me. Please ask a question of this witness. The jury will disregard his statement as it mischaracterizes the law, and he is not testifying, he's asking questions. at
Disappointing,
this time.
Darrell.
Are you aware that the state of Wisconsin is an entity and cannot claim to be an injured
You
party in
doubled
this
down.
matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained. All right, your cross-exam is now closed under 90611. Does the state have any redirect for this
Briefly.
witness? Go ahead.
Sir, prior to the red SUV coming through your group, did you ever hear a horn honking?
Objection.
Overruled. You may answer, sir.
Objection.
Overruled.
Hearsay.
It's not hearsay.
I
was
personally
there, you
didn't,
say.
but
That's fine. Now I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 15 again and ask that that be published to the jury. This has already been admitted into evidence.
Go ahead.
Objection. What was the answer to the last question?
The record
He just
speaks for
he just objected because he was not paying attention to what the guy was saying. What?
itself. Next, the witness can consider the annotations.
In looking at that box again, were all those people on the road as part of the Catholic Communities of Waukesha when the red SUV went through?
Objection. Leading the witness.
Overruled. You may answer, sir.
definitely, 100%.
When you spoke with District Attorney Susan Opper in your meeting that you testified to, did she ever tell you what to say today?
Objection. Hearsay.
Overruled.
How is that here?
You questioned his credibility. You questioned his talking to the state. He may answer the question.
The only
Go
reason
ahead.
why I'm objecting, Your Honor, is because
Your objections
Attorney
noted.
Attorney
It's,
Opper is not asking the question, so how would Attorney Basie know what Attorney
Mr.
Opper
Brooks,
said?
I'm not going to explain the legal procedures. You go ahead, ask the question. You may answer when she does. Do you recall the question?
Yeah, I do. She did not.
Okay.
No.
Did she tell you to tell the truth today?
Objection. Relevancy.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
Everything that you testified today, is it truthful?
Objection. Hearsay.
What?
Overruled. You may answer.
Yes.
Nothing further, thank you.
All right, Nathan, you may step down. I would like
All right, he went off the wall with the hearsay things today. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. I'm new. He went off the wall with the hearsay things today. He has no idea what it means. Like he just declared hearsay because he said that he was telling the truth. How is that hearsay? Let me know in the comments what you think. All right, I'll see you guys on the next episode tomorrow. I'm sorry for the late upload, but I want to continue to give you the daily content. All right. I'll see you guys next time. Give it a like if you've made it this far. See you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.